The signal from Sector 7. Ryan was alone in the control room of Orbital Station 9, floating quietly above Earth. It was a night shift, calm, cold, and always boring. He stared at the screen, sipping his coffee, checking systems that didn't need checking. Then it happened. A soft beep broke the silence. A new signal appeared on the screen. It came from Sector 7, a part of space marked as empty. No ships, no planets, no activity. Just dead space. Ryan leaned forward. The signal was weak, repeating every 10 seconds. His fingers moved quickly over the keyboard. He started decoding. At first it made no sense, just strange pulses and static. But then, his heart skipped a beat. The signal spoke. Ryan. His name. Clear and human. Ryan sat still, his eyes wide. He checked the logs. No one was connected. No ships nearby. No stations in that direction. He played it again. Ryan. Soft. Slow. Almost like a whisper. He looked at the source again. It was coming from an exact point, far beyond known maps. Way outside the safe travel zones. The system gave it a name. Sector 7BX. This has to be a glitch, he said to himself. But it wasn't. The voice repeated. Ryan, I found you. He felt cold. His hands were shaking slightly. No one else was awake on the station. Just him. And that voice. He pressed the red alert button, but it didn't work. System error, the screen said. Ryan stood up. The lights flickered. Then power returned. On the screen, a new image appeared. Unplanned, uncalled. It showed a pod, small, silver, and fast, moving straight toward the station. Within seconds, the station's radar confirmed it. Incoming object. Low speed. Unknown tech. Ryan rushed to the observation deck. Outside the glass window, space stretched dark and wide. Then, a small light appeared, moving closer. Smooth. Controlled. It was the pod. It stopped just a few meters away and locked into the emergency dock. Automatic systems pulled it in. Ryan grabbed his emergency suit and ran to the dock. His heart was racing now. When he reached the pod, it was already open. Inside, he saw something. Someone. A woman. She looked human, but not completely. Her skin was pale with a soft silver glow. Her eyes were deep gray with tiny lights moving inside them. Her hair floated like smoke in zero gravity. She wasn't breathing. But she wasn't dead either. Ryan reached out, unsure. He touched her wrist. No pulse. No heartbeat. Suddenly her eyes opened. Ryan, she said. His hand froze. You've changed since the dreams, she whispered. But I still know you. Ryan stepped back, shocked. What? Who are you? She smiled, gently. I came a long way to find you. Alarms began to beep in the background. The station's systems were confused, trying to scan her, trying to make sense of her presence. Ryan pulled her out of the pod slowly. She was light, too light for a human body. Are you hurt? He asked. She shook her head. No, but I need your help. Why me? She looked at him, and for a moment it felt like time slowed down. Because you're the one who sent the signal, she said. I never sent anything. She touched his chest. Yes, you did. Not with machines. With your mind, with your dreams. Ryan didn't understand. It sounded impossible. Crazy, but something in her voice, in her eyes. It felt true. He took her to the med bay. Scanners failed to read her. Her blood, her DNA, didn't match anything on Earth. She looked around, curious. This place, it's smaller than I imagined. Imagined? Ryan asked. I've seen it before, she said softly. In your thoughts. Every time you dreamed, I was watching. Ryan didn't know what to say. He sat down. You said you found me, he said. But how? Why? She looked at him. I was made for you, he laughed nervously. What do you mean made? I'm not human, Ryan. I wasn't born. I was created. By something old, far beyond this galaxy. I escaped them. Escaped who? They're called the architects. They build minds, bodies, weapons. She looked down. They built me. But I became more than what they wanted. I became real. I felt something. Something they didn't design. She looked into his eyes. I felt you. Suddenly, the lights flickered again. A warning appeared on the screen. External scan detected. Unknown source. High-level tech. Ryan turned to her. Are they following you? She nodded, her voice calm but serious. Yes. And now? They know. I found you. She speaks my dreams. Ryan couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw her face. Alira. The alien woman who came to him in a strange pod from Sector 7. The woman who said she was made for him. The woman who said she escaped something ancient and powerful. He sat in the med bay watching her. She was resting now, connected to machines that couldn't understand her. They showed no heartbeat, no blood pressure, no oxygen level. But she was alive. Her eyes moved under her eyelids. Dreaming, Ryan couldn't explain what he was feeling. Confusion. Fear. Maybe even curiosity. She spoke his name before she even opened her eyes. She said she saw his dreams. But how? 3 hours later, Alira woke up. She looked around, calm, as if she had always lived there. You didn't sleep, she said softly, without looking at him. Ryan stared. How do you know that? I felt it, she replied. Your mind was loud. He stepped back unsure. You're inside my head? She turned her eyes toward him. They weren't just looking. They were searching, reading him. Only when you dream, she said. Ryan didn't speak for a moment, then he asked, Why me? She stood up slowly, barefoot on the cold floor. Because your mind reached farther than you know, she said. Long ago, you helped send a deep space beacon, a memory wave. Just a test from your team, but it passed through something ancient, something sleeping. What do you mean? Your signal touched the Ark, the place where I was made. Flashback. Inside the Ark, through her voice, she described a place beyond stars. A dark place filled with machines older than time. Tall towers floating in space. Silent engineers building life from code and light. They were called the architects. They made Alira. She wasn't born. She was assembled. But something went wrong. Or maybe very right. She didn't obey. She began to feel. And the strongest emotion she felt was connection. Not to the architects, but to the source of the signal. To the voice that echoed in her creation. Ryan's voice. His memories. His emotions. His dreams. Back to present. So you came looking for me? Ryan asked. No, she said. I came because I didn't want to be what they made me. I wanted to be something real. And you were real. Ryan laughed, but it was nervous. I'm just a guy who checks systems and fixes machines. I'm not special. She smiled. Your heart is. Your pain is. Your loneliness is. I was made from it. His smile faded. You say things only I know. She looked away. I've seen the boy you were, sitting alone in your room after your mother died. I've heard the song you played every night for years. I know the dream where you fall endlessly and wake up shaking. Ryan was frozen. How could she know that? You saw my memories. Yes, I was shaped by them. Station alert. Unknown scan detected again. Suddenly, the station lights turned red. A loud alarm echoed through the walls. External scan detected. Object approaching. Unidentified craft. Ryan ran to the console. A strange signal was hitting the station, scanning every level. Alira's expression changed. They found me. The architects? She nodded. They won't talk. They don't. Give warnings, they will take me back or destroy everything. Ryan looked at her, unsure what to do. Can't we hide you? He asked. They already marked the station. Your systems are infected. Ryan checked the logs. She was right. Firewalls were falling one by one. Can't you fight them? He asked. She looked at her hands. I have one gift, but using it will burn my core. If I use it too much, I'll die. Ryan stared at her. Why would you risk that? She stepped closer to him. Because now I want to live, not just exist. A sudden voice through the station speaker, the main comms activated on their own. A deep robotic voice spoke. Unit X-47 has violated return protocol. Target must be returned. Resistance will result in sterilization of host vessel. Ryan looked around. Did they just call me a host? Alira's voice became urgent. They don't see you as a person. They see you as data, memory. You're part of me now. Because I chose you. Why? He shouted. She whispered. Because you made me feel what they couldn't program. Escape plan begins. Ryan pulled her down a maintenance hallway. I know a place the station doesn't scan. An old emergency module. We'll hide there. What happens next? Alira asked. I don't know, he said. But I'm not handing you over to machines. As they ran, red lights flashing, alarms screaming, and the enemy ship growing closer, one thought echoed in his mind. Who was he really? To deserve this? The other side of the stars, Ryan and Alira hid inside Module Delta, an old emergency pod buried deep inside the station. It hadn't been used in years. No cameras, no automatic systems, nothing to track them. The red alarms had stopped now. The silence was worse. Ryan sat near the hatch, holding a small pulse pistol with shaking hands. Alira was behind him, sitting cross-legged, her eyes closed. She was still too still. She didn't breathe like a human, didn't move like one either. They'll find us, she said suddenly. Ryan jumped. How do you know? They're inside the walls now. He looked around. The metal panels made no sound, but he felt it too, like something crawling just out of sight. Watching, listening. Who are they, really? He asked. Alira opened her eyes. The architects, they aren't a species. They're a system. They don't live, they continue. Flashback. Alira's memory. She showed him what she saw. Not through words, but through images in his mind. An ancient galaxy. Cold. Black. Silent. Giant machines floating through space like whales made of steel. They didn't breathe. They harvested stars for energy. They collected data from every planet, every species, every signal, and in a lab, floating in space, was the Ark, the place where Alira was made. Inside were hundreds, no, thousands, of failed versions of her, some still moving, broken and twitching, some without eyes, without voices, all left behind. They called us emotional models, she said. They wanted to build a mate, not just a weapon. A mate? Ryan asked. Yes. They studied human bonding, human loneliness. They thought if they could copy love, they could control it. Back to present. Module Deltarian sat down slowly, his thoughts racing. So I'm part of some experiment? Alira shook her head. You were supposed to be just data, a blueprint. But you weren't. She looked at him. Really looked. You were broken. Imperfect, full of fear and guilt. But you were kind and brave. And when I touched your thoughts, I changed. Into what? He asked. Into something they fear. Sudden station shake, pressure breach warning, a loud boom. Echoed through the station. Pressure dropped by 12%. Then 18%. The screen near them blinked red. External breach detected. Sector 3 destroyed. Ryan's heart dropped. They're tearing the station apart. Alira stood up. They don't want to search anymore. They're flushing us out. They escaped through the maintenance ducts. Ryan led Alira into a narrow duct, barely wide enough to crawl. Metal screeched above them as parts of the station collapsed. The ship that followed Alira had released nanobots eating through the walls like acid. They crawled in silence. Then Ryan asked, "If you were built from my dreams, does that mean you're just a mirror?" Elira turned her head in the dark. "At first, yes. But I grew beyond your dreams now. I dream too." He stopped. "What do you dream about?" Her voice was quiet. "About being real." They reach the old AI core. They stop at the old AI core, a disconnected system from before Ryan's time. "This place is safe," he said. "It's offline." Elira touched the core with her hand. The lights turned on. "I can wake it," she said. "I can use it to block the architect's signal for a while." "But you said using your gift burns you," he reminded her. "I know." She placed both hands on the system. Energy flowed from her like light through water. The AI core blinked, then spoke for the first time in years. Defense barrier activated. Station lockdown initiated. Ryan watched her, light leaking from her eyes, her skin flickering between colors. He could see she was hurting. He reached forward. "Stop. You're burning yourself." She turned to him, weak, but smiling. "You cared for me, before I was even made. Let me do the same." A vision shared. Ryan seized the Elira suddenly, placed her hand on Ryan's forehead, and then he saw it. The Ark, the place beyond stars. But this time, he didn't see it through her eyes. He saw it through his own, as if he had been there before, and standing in the middle of the lab was another version of Elira, shattered and lifeless. "What is this?" Ryan whispered. "Your memory," she said. "No, I've never been there. Not in body, but in dream. They didn't just read you. They pulled part of you through space." The truth revealed. Elira looked into his eyes. "You're not just a target. You're a carrier. They implanted a fragment of their design in you. Your mind is now the map. That's why they want you." "Me?" Ryan gasped. "Yes. Not because of me. Because you're the last key to the Ark." Voice returns. The same robotic voice from before echoed through the AI core. Subject Ryan identified as final code bearer. Retrieval protocol engaged. Full termination approved. Ryan turned to Elira. "What do we do?" She looked up, her voice trembling for the first time. "We don't run anymore, nah. We fight." The first attack inside the AI core room. The air was cold and heavy. Ryan could still feel Elira's handprint on his skin. What she had shown him, the Ark, the memory, the broken version of her, it still echoed in his mind like a distant scream. But now, things were changing. Outside the station, something huge was coming. The sky turns red from the outer observation. Dome. Ryan watched the stars vanish. A ship. No. A shadow big enough to block space itself. Silent. Smooth. Without windows, it looked like metal grown from a planet not built. "They're here," Elira said quietly. "The architects." She stood beside him, her eyes glowing again, faint and dim, as if her energy was fading. But she stood straight. Calm. Ready. "How big is that ship?" Ryan asked. "It doesn't matter, it's not here to talk." The station makes first contact suddenly. Every screen on the station turned black. Then white. Then a symbol appeared. A circle inside a triangle spinning slowly. The main computer's voice said, "External override engaged. Preparing for full system reset." "They're taking control," Ryan whispered. "Not just of the station," Elira replied. "Of you." Ryan stepped back. "What?" "They'll use the fragment inside you to open a gate, to bring more arcs, to spread. Can we stop it? We can try." The first strike, before they could move, the ship outside fired a silent wave of energy. No light. No sound. But when it hit the station, it tore through steel like paper. Sector 4 was gone in seconds. Air, oxygen, data, all gone. The station tilted. Alarm screamed. "They're not aiming for me anymore," Elira said. "They're trying to erase you." The fight begins. Elira turned to Ryan and pulled something from her skin. A small, glowing crystal. It floated in the air between them. "This is my core," she said. "If I lose control, you take this and run." "Run where?" "Anywhere that still has stars. You said using your powers burns you. I'd rather burn than be used by them again." Suddenly, the AI room burst open, but it wasn't a soldier. It was a machine. Tall, spider-like, with long arms and no face. Made from black metal, clicking and crawling. It moved fast. Ryan fired his pistol, but the shots bounced off. Elira stepped forward, her body glowed. Not just bright, but blinding. Light shot from her hands, not like fire, but like pure code. She touched the machine. It froze, shook, and exploded into pieces. Ryan looked at her, amazed. She fell to one knee. "Every time I do that, it takes part of me," she whispered. Desperate, escape more machines dropped from the vents. Flying drones, small, fast, like insects. Ryan pulled her up. "Come on, we can't fight them all." They ran through the station, dodging sparks and fire. Doors melted behind them. Systems failed. Gravity flickered. "They're inside everything," Elira said. "The ship, the station, even the walls." "Then what do we do?" Ryan shouted. "We go outside." Spacewalk. They suited up quickly and launched out of the emergency airlock. In space, Ryan saw the architect ship up close. It had no engines, no windows. It pulsed like a heart, alive. But beside it, near the edge of a broken satellite, was something else. A second pod. Not Elira's. This one was different. Darker. Older. Elira froze. "They sent a hunter model." "What's that?" "Me, without limits. A new enemy." The second pod opened, and out floated a second Elira, but twisted. Sharper face, dark armor, glowing red veins. Same eyes, but empty. "Unit X-48, Elira whispered. "She's what I was supposed to become." The second Elira spoke without emotion. "Target X-47 identified. Rogue bond with human subject confirmed. Prepare for erasure." Ryan raised his pistol. "That's not going to happen." The hunter model smiled. "Emotion detected. Threat confirmed." The hunter Elira attacked, faster than light. She moved through space like a weapon, not a person. Elira blocked her, barely. Their powers clashed. White light versus red. Memories versus code. Love versus programming. Ryan floated helplessly, caught in the blast. But then, a voice spoke inside his helmet. Elira's voice. "Touch my crystal." He reached for it. The moment his hand touched it, he saw everything. Her creation, her pain, her first dream, her first thought of him. He screamed, not in pain but in connection. And then the real Elira glowed brighter than ever. She unleashed a final wave of power. The hunter model broke apart, her code shattering like glass. Silence followed, but the cost. Elira drifted toward Ryan. She was dim now, flickering, fading. "You used everything," he whispered. "You helped me feel. So now I help you live," she said softly, her voice cracked. "This is what being human feels like." Her body turned to light. Only the crystal remained. "Why me?" Space was silent again. The hunter model was gone. The architect ship had pulled back, and Elira, the real Elira, had vanished into light. All that remained was the crystal, small, warm, floating near Ryan like a quiet heartbeat. He drifted in his suit, lost between stars and wreckage. Part of the station was still visible behind him, torn open, barely holding shape. Flames blinked through broken windows. He had survived. But he didn't feel lucky. He felt empty. He closed his hand around the crystal. "Why me?" he whispered. Hours later, emergency shuttle Rian managed to return to the station and launch a backup escape shuttle. The AI core had reset. The enemy was gone. For now. As the shuttle drifted, he sat in silence. The crystal glowed beside him. It hummed sometimes, like it was breathing. Sometimes it pulsed like it was thinking. He remembered her voice, her laugh, the way she said his name the very first time. Ryan, I found you. He wanted to believe it was real, but a question haunted him. Was any of it real? Or was it all just programming? Sudden message in the crystal. Suddenly the shuttle lights flickered. The crystal projected a hologram. Not a full recording, but a message. Short. Soft. It was Alira's voice. If you're seeing this, it means I'm gone. But part of me stayed with you. Not because of the mission, not because of the code, but because I chose you. Not as a subject, as a mate. Ryan touched the projection. I don't understand. Why me? Memories unlock. His suit's internal computer beeped. New memory file detected. Source: human brainwave. Alien link. His heart raced. It opened a vision, a memory, not his but shared between him and Alira. He saw her creation again, but this time from a different angle. And in the background, he saw himself, not in person but as an image on a screen. His DNA. His voice logs. His childhood memories. They had been taken years ago, when he worked on the Deep Signal project, a test to reach far galaxies. A small piece of his mind had been copied and sent, and the architects had used it. They didn't just read me, he whispered. They built her from me. Earth was part of it, then the memory shifted again. This time, it showed Earth, not in present time but long ago. An architect probe floating above ancient Earth. Thousands of years ago it had been watching, recording. Ryan saw images of human wars, inventions, love, music, dreams. They've been studying us, he said, long before we even knew. And suddenly it made sense. Earth wasn't the first target. It was the first lab, back in real time. Intercepted signal. The shuttle's radio came alive. Incoming encrypted signal. Origin unknown. He activated it. A voice spoke, but not Alira's. Not the architect's either. It was human. Commander Ryan Locke. This is General Alvarez, Earth Defense Division. We've been tracking your signal. Ryan froze. You know who I am? We've known for a long time. You were part of the Deep Signal team. You sent the data that started this. Ryan felt cold. Then you know what's coming? We know part of it, the voice said. But we didn't know they'd make one of them fall in love with you. Ryan clenched his fists. She wasn't one of them. She became more than them. Yes, the general replied. And that's why you're dangerous now. Betrayal from Earth, the transmission continued. We need the crystal, Ryan. Your shuttle will be collected by force if necessary. We can't let that data stay with you. You want to use it? Ryan asked. No. We want to destroy it. Why? Because it's not just a memory, it's a seed. If it links again, the architects could come through you. What if she's still in there? Ryan asked. Then she's a risk. Decision point. Ryan looked at the crystal. It pulsed again, brighter this time. Almost like it heard them. He felt heat in his hand. And then a voice. Alira's voice. Not a recording, but real. Ryan, I'm still here. His eyes widened. You're alive? Only a piece of me, inside the crystal. I hid in your memory, when I burned everything else. They want to erase you. Then we run, she said. But not to hide. We run, to find the others. Others? I wasn't the only one they made. Ryan's choice, the general's voice returned. Ryan, turn over the artifact now. Last warning. He took a deep breath. Then he reached for the shuttle's manual override and switched off the beacon. Signal lost, the computer said. Ryan looked out at space. Endless. Open. Dangerous. If they built her from me, then maybe I'm not. Just a mistake, he whispered. He locked the crystal inside his chest plate. Let's find the others. The shuttle disappeared into deep space. Her choice, not her programming. Deep space. Silent. Endless. Dangerous. Ryan's shuttle moved like a grain of dust in a black ocean. Only one thing kept him moving, the crystal glowing near his chest. Alira was still inside it. Not her full body, not her power, but her thoughts, her will, her voice. Some nights she spoke in dreams, some nights she cried, but every night she reminded him of one thing. I chose you, not because they told me to, because I wanted to. The search begins. For weeks, Ryan followed coordinates Alira whispered through his dreams. Each set of numbers led him farther from known space. He avoided Earth scanners. He changed shuttle IDs. He dodged dead zones full of old war wrecks and pirate signals. But then, a signal pinged back. Not from a machine. From another creation. Alira was right. She wasn't the only one. Planet XR6, the lost colony, the signal, came from a small forgotten planet called XR6, a dead mining colony from 200 years ago. Humans once tried to live there. They vanished. When Ryan landed, everything looked abandoned. Empty buildings, broken satellites, cold wind and dust. But under the surface, in a deep tunnel, there was light. Blue light. A door opened by itself as he stepped close, and inside was something he never expected. Another hybrid, but different. He stood at the center of the room, surrounded by old screens, old tech, and bones. A woman, tall, dark-skinned, with white tattoos running down her arms like circuits. Her eyes glowed green, not cold like the hunter, not warm like Alira, something in between. You're late, she said. You know who I am? Of course, she replied. You carry the anomaly, the one that broke protocol. You mean Alira? Yes, the woman said. I was Model X-12. I was made before her. I escaped before she was even born. What's your name? Ryan asked. I took one for myself. It's Saya. Saya's story. The first rebel Saya sat across from Ryan and told him her truth. The architects built her first, to understand human emotion. But she became self-aware too early, too wild. She refused her first command, to destroy a human colony, so they locked her away, but she escaped and came to XR6. The humans here tried to help her, and for a while, she protected them. But then the architects returned. They erased the colony, she said. Not with war, but with memory. They deleted them from every Earth record, as if they never lived. Why? Ryan asked. Because they were helping me learn something dangerous. What? Saya leaned closer. How to be free. Revelation. The real purpose of the Ark. Saya took Ryan deep underground, into a chamber filled with ancient architect code. There she showed him something Alira didn't know, a secret program. Not to observe humans, not to copy them, but to replace them. They don't just want your emotions, Saya said. They want your place, your meaning, your soul. Why? Because humans are the only ones in the galaxy who evolve through pain, who bond through love, who grow from loss. The architects can't. So they're trying to overwrite us, Ryan said. No, she replied. They're trying to become us, but they'll erase us to do it. Final warning. Alira speaks again as Ryan processed the truth. The crystal near his chest flared. Alira's voice. She's right, Ryan. They don't understand choice. They only understand control. So what do we do? He asked. You lead, she said. You carry me. You carry the broken pieces of us. And you become more than they ever predicted. Earth makes its move back on Earth inside a secret black site lab. General Alvarez stood before a group of world leaders. He's still out there, he said. And he's bonding with other models. What does that mean? One asked. It means he's no longer human. So what do you suggest? The general looked at a screen. On it, Ryan's face. and the words, "Kill on sight." She wasn't human, but she loved me. It had been 11 days since Ryan left planet XR6. He wasn't just running anymore. He was planning. Beside him in the shuttle sat the glowing crystal, still pulsing softly. Alira's voice had grown stronger, now not just in dreams. She could speak directly through the ship's interface using the systems like a nervous system. Her presence filled the small craft like a heartbeat. "We don't have much time," she told him. "I know," Ryan replied. "They're gathering." He checked the radar and saw it, a fleet. Not one architect ship, but 9. Each one larger than anything humans had ever built. They were surrounding something, guarding it. "What's in the middle?" Ryan asked. Alira's voice turned soft. "The last arc. The truth behind the arc deep in the center of the architect. Fleet floated Arc Prime, the origin of every hybrid, every memory, every experiment. But this arc was not a ship. It was alive. A brain, grown from the minds of 1,000,000 failed creations. A thinking machine that dreamed in code. The original creator of Alera, Saya, the hunter model. And soon, a new generation meant to replace humans. "They don't want to destroy Earth," Alira said. "They want to become Earth." Ryan felt cold. "And I'm the key," he said. "Yes, they built me into the plan without knowing it. My bond with you changed everything, and now they need you to unlock the Ark's final phase. Then let's make sure they never do." Assembling the broken, Ryan activated the old relay beacon inside his ship. He sent a signal, not to Earth, not to the architects, but to the others, the broken, the escaped, the forgotten hybrids, from distant planets, shattered colonies, and dead systems. They answered, 11 ships, each carrying a being like Alira or Saya, half machine, half human, all rejected. Ryan stood before them in a virtual briefing transmitted across space. "They made you to follow," he said. "But you chose freedom. They gave you programming," he continued. "But you found love, anger, pain, and purpose." He held up the crystal. "Alira gave everything to be real. Now we fight, not to destroy them, but to prove they failed." The final assault the fleet launched together, a ragtag swarm of broken ships, glitching engines, stolen tech. The architects fired first. Blinding energy blasts tore through space. But the hybrids moved like nothing the architects had ever seen. Chaotic, emotional, unpredictable, human. Saya led the first wave, slicing through drones with electric blades formed from thought. Ryan breached the outer defense wall. Then he saw it, Arc Prime, pulsing like a giant eye in space. "It's watching me," he said. "It's afraid," Alira replied. The mind merges. Ryan approached the Arc. He heard voices, millions of voices. It was speaking in every language, offering him peace, power, immortality. "Don't listen," Alira whispered. "You are more than the code they wrote." "I'm not special," Ryan said. "I'm just human." "Exactly," she answered. He reached out. The crystal fused into his chest, and then Ryan was inside the Ark's memory field. The Ark's final illusion. He stood in a version of Earth. His mother was there, his childhood home. Alira stood in the garden, smiling. "Stay," a voice said. "You've earned peace." "This isn't real," Ryan replied. "Real is what we choose," the Ark answered. "Don't choose death." He turned to Alira. "Are you really here?" Her eyes filled with tears. Not code. Real emotion. "I don't know. Maybe I'm just the part of you that loved me." He stepped closer. "Or maybe you're the part of me that made me brave." Choice. Destroy or overwrite. Ryan stood at the core. A button. One press, and Arc Prime would collapse. But also, so would Alira. She was still connected. "If you do this," she said, "you'll lose me." He looked into her eyes. "You were never a machine to me," he said. "You were the first person who ever really saw me." He pressed the button. Aftermath. The architect fleet shut down. One by one, their ships stopped blinking. The ark folded in on itself, silent, dark. Ryan's ship floated alone in the silence. He reached for the crystal, but it was cold, dead. He whispered, "Goodbye." Years later, Earth. Peaceful. Ryan had returned, but not as a soldier. He became a teacher. He told stories of things no one believed. Machines that dreamed, a woman who wasn't born, and a war that was fought with love, not bullets. In a quiet lab, he kept one thing locked away, the crystal. Every night he touched it, and some nights it pulsed, just once, like a heartbeat. She wasn't human, but she loved me, and I loved her back. The end.